My father was an immigrant. My mother was first born to my immigrant grandparents. We all lived in one house. I think that extended family was an important part of my childhood, and the expectation that I would go on and hopefully receive a college education.
My parents were immigrants. They came from another country, Italy, and survived during the Nazi occupation and World War II underground. My father's a barber, my mother's a seamstress, and they have their own businesses and really never were able to pursue finishing any type of formal education. But to them, what was stressed to me and to my sister and to my brother was education, education, education.
In my sophomore year, my father had been taking some classes in a local technical college. Came home and asked me if I would complete a paper for him. Read a book, complete this paper, and I'll give you $15. Seemed like a good deal to me at the time, and I said sure. So I read this book, answered a series of questions, and gave it to my dad. And you know, there's actually some ethical issues there. But contrary to the ethical issues, my father turned the paper in, and about 2 weeks later, he approached me and said, "Hey, Jimmy, guess what we got on that paper?" And I said, "What did we get?" And he said, "An A-." So it was at that moment that I knew that I could handle college work. And so from that point forward, I started to think of myself as going to college, and then the issue became how would I pay for college?
The greatest barrier for me in attending college was financial.
Being the child of a family with very little means, we never took vacations. We maybe went to a restaurant once or twice a year. Probably financial.
There were certainly moments of doubt and moments of questions, but always with an eye toward the end in mind.
Yeah, there was a time that I thought I didn't want to do it anymore, and I'm glad that I did. And hard work, perseverance, diligence, adversity builds character, and that's important.
So all of my undergraduate work was done with night courses, weekend courses, courses during the day, wherever I could fit them into that didn't conflict with my work schedule.
Failure was not an option. I had determined in my own mind that I was going to graduate.
I graduated from high school in 1974, and I didn't finish my undergrad degree until May of 1991.
I think for my parents, when I was accepted into college, it was a symbol that their daughter, their firstborn, was moving forward in a very different way from the lives that they had led.
I remember my father taking me to the campus of the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and I've got my two bags there, and he reaches into his pocket and he handed me $200. And symbolically, that $200 got me through undergraduate school and law school, because I knew that it was difficult for my father to come up with that kind of money, and for him to give that to me meant that he supported what I was doing, and I've never forgotten that.
One, it's caused me to reflect on the people whose shoulders I'm standing upon, my grandparents who did not finish high school, my mom who was a GED graduate, but in spite of that, all three of our children went on to college. Two of us graduated with advanced degrees.
I tell the young people there, don't think that you can't. There's always opportunity for you, and nothing's ever going to be handed to you. And I think that's the most important thing. And I tell young people that don't let a zip code dictate your future, as people will say. You dictate your own future.
I grew up poor in this country. But growing up poor, I was never homeless. I was never without food. And I got an education. And I think it's our moral obligation to make sure that the next generation of under-resourced children do not go without food, do not go without shelter, and that we provide them with the very best educational opportunities that we can. And so I stand before you as someone who had the opportunity to get an education and took advantage of that opportunity. And despite the odds, I'm a first-generation college graduate.